Hi, I'm Amanda Shekarchi, and I am joined by Alex, who goes by Don't Make This Weird. His self titled album is out now, and last year he played two NXNE showcases here in Toronto. Alex, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Amanda.
So, I want to start off with something fun before we dive into this. I heard you went to the Charlie XCX concert last year. How was that?
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah, it was. I mean, it almost didn't happen. I've been loving the album, of course, and actually, I remember vividly the day that Brat came out because I was staying in Toronto in the beaches. I was in some Airbnb in the beaches, and I remember going out especially to take a walk and listen to the whole project. And obviously, it's incredible. Um, but then I just had got distracted with things. But some friends were going, and a ticket came up, and I'm so pleased I went. It was an incredible show and very unusual in that it was just her and incredible lights. So it was like obviously you used to just seeing like a band or dancers or so, but it was like incredible to see her like command that 2 hours of stage time. Yeah, it was an amazing show.
Now, I want to ask you, how would you describe your music journey so far?
Unexpected. It's not what I thought I would be doing with my life. I like trained to be an actor and have been, and still am an actor, but it's definitely taken over my focus and attention. Um, so it's really a surprise to me, to be honest. Um, but it happened so gradually because I was doing it in my spare time and writing songs, and then I'd get the reaction would be encouraging enough to make me try more and more, and then it's like this huge scope creep. Like if I can just make one song, that'd be incredible. And then when you made one, you're like, oh, maybe I should try making an EP, and then suddenly you're making an album, and it just grows like that. Yeah. But no, it wasn't. I can't say I was like growing up as a kid. Like I want to be a musician. I didn't know that this would be my medium at all. I was writing always. Um, I didn't. I thought the writing might find its home in a script or a play or maybe a book, but somehow this actually feels like it makes the most sense for me as a person to write songs and make visuals and put on shows.
So, your album, Don't Make This Weird, is out now. What is the inspiration behind it?
I suppose the main inspiration was this terrible breakup and heartbreak that I was going through, and I was trying to process and trying to do something creative with all these feelings and everything that was going on. So I think the thing with like calling it the project and myself, Don't Make This Weird, is a kind of like self mocking kind of joke. Just because I felt like I was making things weird, and I wasn't just like you know functioning in the way that I would hope to. So given that it was such a miserable time, I was just like trying to seek out the humor where I could find it. So that's what made me kind of call it Don't Make This Weird. And then songs like Heartbreak and Antidepressants and Whatever Gets You Through the Night were my attempt to kind of, I just got really excited by this idea of pop alchemy. You know how like you can have a really essentially song about something sad, but through pop music make it sound the opposite. I love that duality and that kind of like yin and yang, both things existing at once. It's sounding effervescent and fun, but it's actually about the most miserable moment of your life. So yeah, that's kind of those are the ideas that inspired me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to actually dive into the track of that you just mentioned here. Whatever gets you through the night. What was the inspiration behind that one?
So I in all of this like turbulent time just wasn't really sleeping well. I mean, I was kind of had insomnia, uh, and a lot of the time, around that time that the record's based on, I was like going out a lot just to find distraction, by whatever means necessary. And one thing that did actually help was being immersed in really loud dance music. When the beat is so loud and the bass is thumping through your chest, it kind of like throws you into the moment. And I had so many intrusive thoughts going on, that it was like a brief reprieve in that dance music. So that just made me want to try and make my first ever dance song, um, and kind of capture that chaotic, turbulent, insomniatic time, but also make it sound, give it energy.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of dance music, I know the artist Robyn. What was inspiration for you? How did she influence this record?
Well, I've always loved Robin, but right in the eye of the storm, in all of that tumultuous time, I found myself at a Robin concert. I was like right at the front, completely heartbroken, and there she was, and I was just getting to witness like how she had transformed her sorrow into something so bold and vivid and unifying and like really life-giving. And I left that night, that concert, wanting to see if I could find my way of doing that, of like using a painful situation for like ultimately something good and transformative. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the song Cry, especially, you can hear that like influence.
Yeah, I even like mention her in the bridge. I'm like, "Yeah, hold on to Robin, dancing on my own." Like, it's like I was trying to hold on to, what she had done, and yeah, it actually worked its way into that song. Um, but no, she's amazing, and yeah, and actually, the, the craziest thing about that Charlie concert we were talking about was halfway through, she brought Robin out to sing "Dancing on My Own," which was like a total shock and amazing surprise.
Something I want to touch on with you, because I know this album really kind of discusses a lot of heartbreak and, you know, what comes with that mentally. So, how was music therapy for you when you're going through everything?
My hope was to use it as a therapeutic means, and I guess previously, before this album, if I had a sad situation and I was writing a song about it, it would sound quite sad and emotional. And I hoped by trying to experiment with this pop alchemy and this duality, and pull write about what was going on, but pull it into a completely different energetic space with the production, with the melodies, and with the pop music. I hope that that would help me. Um, I think it did a bit. I think I was quite inspired by a friend of mine who was dealing with some, trauma, and I can't remember the type of therapy that she was having, but she said it's like you go back in the memory of it and you find almost like something funny about a certain detail, like there was like a frog wallpaper or something, some absurd silly detail, and it kind of, I don't know, I don't even know if I'm getting it right, but that was quite an inspiring idea that got me, on this track. But at the same time, I think there is a risk, which I'm very like aware, like it's on my mind. I know, heard Dua Lipa talking about this. Like, if you're writing about heartbreak and then you're singing it, and then you're in the doing it live and promoting it, singing it again and again, it there's a potential danger there for, you know that whole thing about what you focus on grows. That I think that's something that kind of worries me slightly. But yeah, so I think it's helped, and I think I'm just aware of it not becoming my whole life, because I don't ever really want to go through anything like that again.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. That, because you're always focusing, especially like performing is such an emotional experience as well. So it's kind of like, reliving what you're talking about in the music in a way.
Yeah, I remember. I have got this DVD of Amy Winehouse live, and she was thinking that she actually hated doing shows in the end because it was keeping her in that mental and emotional space, like you say, reliving it every night. But I don't know. There's got to be a healthy way of doing it. Like with acting, if you're doing a play every night, you don't necessarily become you know, you shouldn't become that character off stage.
Yeah, well, speaking of performing, you got to perform at North by Northeast Music Festival last year. How was that?
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, I had a really lovely show at the Painted Lady. In particular, that was a good night. Um, and I worked with an amazing drummer, David, who is over there in Toronto. And I've just found it to be such a like nurturing and supportive place, because I've made quite a few trips now, and I've done some songwriting out with artists in Toronto, and I've made friends in the city. And yeah, it's just got quite a special energy, I find, and it's quite nurturing of the arts in general. I don't know if you feel that.
Yeah, I was at North by Northeast last year as well,
Mm.
and the festival really I just love the celebration that they have and the focus on, you know, raising awareness and showing you all these new musicians. And the Painted Lady is actually such a great venue. So I love that you got to perform in such an intimate space like that.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah, well, speaking of Toronto, what are some of your favorite spots when you come by?
I love being by water, so like being by the lakes is incredible. Um, Actually, a friend of mine got married out on one of the islands.
Mhm.
I forget which one, but that was an amazing experience. Leaving the city and going on this, felt like going on this little holiday um, to the island. I really like that. Um, that's probably my favorite. And also, I developed a really perverse love of Tim Hortons, which is so random.
Love
It's so
it.
it's just so. I think what it was is the first time I came to Toronto, it was in the middle of winter. It was so cold, and because I had my English cell phone, I didn't have any. I constantly needed to go somewhere for Wi-Fi, so it was just
Yes.
like this warm beacon, like around every corner.
Do you remember what you got?
I got a very boring order. I just get like an Americano with some oat milk. But I heard about the double double phenomenon. I just never had one.
What is next for you?
Well, that's the question. I mean, I think for the immediate future, it's going to be about the promotion and getting this record to its audience. I've been like hermiting for years now, making it, um, and it's really now about finding and connecting with the people that it's for, that it will resonate with, and finding them and getting it to them. I mean, it's obviously, like, we're all so inundated with our attention all the time. So many people are putting music out. So I think that's the immediate thing. I've worked so hard on it. As much as it's tempting to just move on and start making new stuff, which is really what I want to do, um, I have to get it to its audience, because um, it is for an audience. Like, it started as something for me, but through the process of um, putting it together into this kind of polished body of work, it becomes something you want to reach an audience. Yeah, yeah. And live shows, that'll be on the agenda. Um, yeah, and then eventually writing more music.
Love it. So let's shout out your socials. Where can people find you?
Well, it's Don't Make This Weird. Yeah, I think on Instagram it's Don't Make This Weird with an underscore afterwards. On TikTok it's just Don't Make This Weird, and I think those are the only two I'm on.
And then your website and music?
Yes, that's don'tmakethisweird.net. And yes, the music is on Spotify and everywhere else. Just type in Don't Make This Weird.
Amazing. Thank you so much.